Finals just got a brand new patch 2.5.0. We'll go over all the details with that, as well as some of the recent community complaints and concerns. We also have some developer updates around the anti-cheat, as well as server and queue times. We got the brand new store bundles and items that came with this update, and even a further update with the community event, as well as some other dev-related comments. We got a ton to talk about. What's up, world? It's Utopia back in with another video. Today we're checking out all things the final. Okay, so first up, as always, let's jump into those opening statements. Again, we have one for the Discord, as well as one with the patch notes. First opening statement here over on the Discord is by Oscar with the 2.5.0. He goes on here to say, today we're bringing an update with some balance changes as well as some dev comments on future changes to both stun gun and the cloaking device. Now first up, let's go over that community event update, as they do discuss that here. But on an almost more important note, you completed the community event. Goes on to say, I wasn't worried at all, maybe a little bit, but you all pushed through and really made a push heard 10 times around the world. It was kind of close there with the second to last day being around 80%. However, we all accumulated over 15% with that second day, which led us on to 95%, so we only needed 5% more with that last day there, or that last 12 hours. Obviously, in my previous video, I did a bit of guesstimation there, but it seemed like we were going to complete the challenge. And yeah, we did, but it helped with that last day getting that 15%, then leading on to 95%, which led us to that 100% completion, where he did go on here to say that you can expect the boombox to appear in your inventories before the end of the week. Keep an eye on the server announcements for that and the last t-shirt winner. When they do announce the boombox being out and in player inventories, I will let you guys know. Obviously, we're already in the middle of the week, so we are going to expect that sometime soon. Jumping over to the patch notes, we do have an opening statement with some different things here. Of course, we have that 2.5.0 video that they always drop with recent updates, as well as the new store bundles. They did actually go on here to give a special shout out to Goo and Sludge for pushing the platform an astounding 185 kilometers. This was the #1 on the leaderboards there. Pretty cool to see a shout out for a player that did above and beyond for that. Also, you may have noticed that the switch to using Embark ID as your main display name in game. So they finally have switched things over with the 2.5.0 update. Again, this seemingly is only applying to the Steam player base. Obviously on the consoles, I'm pretty sure it's going to use your gamer tag still. But for PC and Steam, you will notice that now it is your Embark ID. If this was something that you just set randomly, kind of like I did, or at least one of my different names, you can actually change this display name, and I'll link down below to the portal where you can directly change that by signing in. And all you got to do is navigate to this tab here where it shows display name and hit edit, and then that will allow you to change your name. You can actually do this every 10 minutes, which is fairly quick. In fact, one of the quickest I've ever seen. I think most other games and most other platforms like Epic Games and a few others, they only allow you to do it once a month, or once every 6 months, or once every 2 weeks. So the fact that you can even do it every day, let alone every 10 minutes, is really nice. You definitely should do that now, as I don't know if that cooldown will eventually get raised. However, right now it is only 10 minutes to change your name, so you can do that fairly frequently. There is numbers after the name. Again, seemingly this is to denote on how to add people, as people can have the same username. I assume these numbers are random, as if you do put in a random name, it just will give you random letters and not 001. Basically akin to Discord, allowing you to pick that 0001 number. However, with this, it seems like those numbers are completely random. Again, so if you're seeing a different name when you log in through the Steam client, that is why, because they finally switched over to the Embark ID that I covered in an earlier video. Onto the actual changes. For balance changes, we did have the data reshaper have its range increased. This is definitely a big one that I've seen in a ton of comments and in other videos, that they wanted the range to be a lot farther. Again, another video that I covered, that grenade diffusing, that's going to make that a lot better as well. They also had the target FOV decreased from 25 degrees to 12 degrees, so you can pinpoint that a little bit better. That's also to account for the increased range, and it might have made that a little OP with the grenades. Now the stun gun has a big dev note here, where they said they are aware of players' frustrations around the stun gun and being stunned by the stun gun. They're planning some changes here to get a better place. However, these changes will require more testing before they deploy them, so that will be in the update to 6. Again, more than likely next week on this Wednesday, same thing. We had quite a massive, and I mean massive, nerf to cloaking device. I've tested this a little bit this morning. As being a light main, I've definitely felt the nerf on the cloaking device. It does feel a bit harsh. I hope they kind of fine-tune this one just a little bit back, as the amount that this requires to actually activate is just a bit significant. They increased the activation cost from 14% to 33%, which is over a 100% increase. Seems like quite a wild increase there. Again, I definitely felt that one. I know people really don't like Cloaking Device, so we'll have to see how it plays with the meta, and I'm willing to give it a chance. However, you definitely will feel it on the Cloaking Device. The nerf is quite significant. They made a dev note here. This does not change the maximum sustained time, but makes it that the drain faster when toggling on and off too frequently. They're also looking into changes to the visibility of cloak players, but that will not be deployed until 2.6. Again, Cloaking Device seems like it's being nerfed into the ground. Obviously, I'm not too happy about it because I do like Cloaking Device, but I understand the frustration there by other players. Definitely not opposed to meta changes, so I'd like to see how this fares in the coming weeks. Mesh Shield also saw a pretty significant nerf as well, but they had its health decreased from 1,000 down to 750. We also saw the KS-23 get a buff, which I definitely think it needed, especially from the private playtest that I got to experiment with this weapon a lot. The KS-23 had its bullet dispersion reduced from jumping, sprinting, and or zoomed in to make the weapon more accurate, which I definitely felt that in the private test. Like I said, there was times where I had my crosshair on players and I did not get even a single hit marker. Definitely felt that on the weapon there. I'm glad they're buffing that and getting that one in order. We also had some major security updates like AFK idle rule enhancements. Again, we saw a lot of player kick stuff, some player penalty stuff recently where players weren't even leaving a match and they got a penalty. So maybe these have now been properly implemented into that scenario there, or at least not doing it while you haven't just left the game. Another big W here for the anti-cheat stuff. They added detections for software such as cheat tools and injectors leading to suspensions. We've also recently had some developer comments on this. Now, this was in a reply to someone saying that the report system doesn't really do much. However, a developer here by the name of Embark Darkbear went on to say we process reports all through the days and to no end, and a majority of them show no signs of cheating, but they understand the frustration there. Now, hopefully these newer detection tools will allow them to see more stuff there behind the scenes. However, I will say sometimes players are just really good, and that is kind of like a skill issue sort of thing there. But there is definitely a cheating issue a lot of times here, so I do understand a lot of players' frustration here, but it seems like developers are at least actively looking into this stuff. That should cover it for the patch notes portion. However, we did have those new store bundles as well as new store items. So that helmet that was showcased for the update, we have the Lurkfin Lagoon, which is not a bundle but just a helmet that you can wear. This is a legendary headwear. And then we also had the Signal Router set, the Rose Garden set, as well as the new AKM set. The one that stands out to me, of course, is that new pistol skin, which looks absolutely incredible. I'm thinking of picking this one up myself as it just looks really cool. Honestly, if I didn't have that super rare closed beta skin for the V9S, I would consider picking this up. Another little last minute mentionable here is we had a really cool game mode idea. Again, the devs have taken a ton of ideas already for the skins and stuff like that, although maybe they've had them already. But obviously they've taken after the Sledgehammer Spoon and also the Shield Cardboard or the Cardboard Shield. Someone had a really cool idea here where it's just Via versus Vandals. They actually had a really cool idea here where the Vandals are the heavies and the Via is the lights and mediums. Pretty interesting here. This was done by Refi Comics over on the Reddit. Kind of reminds me of the Bunny Bash, where depending on what class you played, light, medium, or heavy, you got assigned a different character, and that was sustained or at least static, and you weren't allowed to change that character's preset or appearance. I think this overall will be pretty cool. I think Embark should really lean into this sort of stuff. Maybe they take after this one. Maybe they do add some new game modes down the line, as I do think the finals will fare well with a ton of new content. For the current subreddit, this is a very highly upvoted post. It seems like people would see this working and definitely would be into this. Overall, that's about covered for today's video. If you like and subscribe, and until the next, deuces.